Today, we will learn how to snipe scalp cryptocurrencies by combining high time frames and low time frames like 1 or 2 minutes. This best scalping strategy can be easily used with Forex or any futures. We will learn about how to use order blocks with high time frames and low time frames, best trading view indicators to help us to improve our entries. 3 different trading examples that I made over 80% and 60%, and how I missed over 100%. So, we have so many things to cover. If you're ready, let's start. In our previous video, we discussed the best order blocks possible. This was just my idea. If you haven't watched it yet, please watch that video first. Actually, all the videos in the price action trading playlist to fully understand these strategies. What we are gonna do today is identify order blocks in high time frames like 30 or 15 minutes and find scalping entries within 1, 2, 3 or 5 minutes. I'll teach you a stress-free and relaxing way of trading. Instead of sitting in front of a computer for 10 hours, getting exhausted physically and mentally. Now you remember this strategy which has 7 steps of quality checkpoints. However, it is not common to find this exact setup. So if I can confirm 3 or 4 high quality points is good enough for me. Before we move on, let's talk about the indicators that I'll be using. If you have watched both of my best trading view indicator videos, you already know that the best indicators that I usually use. My first indicator is higher high, lower low, live. Using this indicator to get a feeling of market structure and trends. The second indicator is imbalance finder. This indicator helps me to identify order imbalances. Price will always want to fill the imbalances. The last indicator is the volume profile for identifying key levels. This is a paid indicator. This indicator is not essential. If you do not have Pro Trading View, you can skip this indicator. Let's talk about the first example. I tweeted about this possible trade on Twitter and it worked very nicely. 80% profit. I keep getting the same question. I do not have any WhatsApp or Telegram or any Signal services. I sometimes publish my analysis on Twitter, that's it. Okay, I'll go step by step again. We will do an initial analysis with a 15 minutes chart. Then we will look for a scalp entry in a low time frame. 1. Where is my deepest lower low? Yes, this is the one. 2. Which lower high creates my deepest lower low? It is very obvious, this one. 3. Can we confirm the market structure break? As you can see, it breaks very strongly. 4. As you can see, there are 2 swings. If you watched the best order blocks video, you can easily see which swing breaks MSB. Yep, this one. 5. Where is my order block? It is the last red candlestick that starts swing move. 6. Do we have an imbalance? Right here you can see the imbalance. Once there is an imbalance, prices will usually want to fill the imbalance. 7. Key level. As you can see, there is a very strong high volume node that acts as a demand area as well. It is so simple. Now I draw my demand area. Once you find your demand area, what do? Just set your alarm over that demand area. Open your TradingView list and keep doing this analysis for 10 to 15 cryptocurrencies or foreign exchanges. Keep setting your alarms. Use TradingView alarms or your broker's alarms like Binance, Bybit, FTX. Then it's time to relax. Go watch your movie. Try to watch a Johnny Depp movie. Do your business. Study if you're a student. Spend time with your family. Create a hobby and have fun. I am teaching you a stress-free, relaxing way of trading instead of staring at monitors for 10 hours and keep losing money. Okay, once you hear your alarms, what should you do? Go in your low time frame like 1 or 2 minutes and watch the price action. Confirm a micro MSP right here. And you remember the entry zones, right? Between lower high and the lower low. You can take any kind of entry from the entry zone. My stop will be below the deepest low area. My target was for this trade 1 hour to 2 hour ratio until this high volume node area. As you can see, there is a 5% move from here with 20x leverage or 100% profit. So you have to combine high time frame and low time frame analysis. Just keep focusing on market structure breaks with high and low time frames. This is how you should be scalping. My results have skyrocketed since I've been using the price action trading concepts. Because I'm not using a combination of indicators telling me to buy or sell. I'm using the price and volume to read the real story. I know you want a quick fix, like just put EMA 9 and 20 when it crosses, just buy it. Or just enter a trade when RSI is overbought or oversold. But think about it, how much money did you make with quick fix indicators? Now, let's talk about this quick 67% profit. What I used here, break of structure, rather than the market structure break. As you can see, where the boss happens. Can you tell me which green candlestick starts the swing move that causes the boss? Yes, there it is. This giant candlestick. So this area is my supply area. What else do we have here? Very strong volume cluster, a high volume node. You can identify this point even without the volume profile. When you see little consolidation ranges, those areas are actually natural supply and demand areas as well. Okay, where were we? Right, confirmed boss and our bearish order block area. I used the sniper entry style here. I set a stop limit order for this, and my order was filled. But I do not suggest it. Always go into low time frames and try to confirm the micro MSB. So, what did I target here? Do you see this imbalance right here? Yes, this was my target. What do I always say? Price will always want to fill imbalances. Sometimes it will not be able to fill it, but it will attempt to fill it. I cannot express enough the importance of imbalances, so I will shoot an entire video about imbalances. And the result was obvious, a nice profit. I had zero stress and it was relaxing. Trading should be fun and it should not consume your life. Let's talk about this example. I tweeted this and it was an obvious demand area with an order block. I was sure that the price was going to hit my demand area and fly away. But it happened sooner than I thought. Let's analyze this example. Okay, you already know about MSB, OB, and entry zones because you watched all the videos in my free price action course, right? I want to believe so. Can you see this imbalance? When I tweeted this, my idea was that the price was to fill this imbalance and get into the order block demand zone, and I would have a great entry. I was so close. This is the reality. Sometimes imbalances are filled and prices react from there. without entering your demand or supply zones. How can you fix this? Let's open the low time frame. Now we are in 1 minute time frame. Let's see what happened. Can you see it? It is amazing, isn't it? Market structure break is the core of price action trading. It is everywhere. What would I do is take an entry from this entry zone. That's it. If I was stopped out, I would wait for the price to enter my demand area and wait for another MSP and enter the trade again. Guys, forget about everything. Just use market structure breaks and entry zones. Then combine it with high time frames and low time frames. Your life will change. This is how you should scalp. No stress, no sadness, no panic. 1 or 2 good trades per day. There is no magical buy-sell indicator for scalping. Since I use price action methods for scalping, my profits become incredibly high. My losses are so limited. Scalping should be stress-free. You shall not stay in front of the computer for 10 hours away from friends or family. Okay guys, take care. Please subscribe to the channel and leave a like for me. Thank you and see you soon.